Hello, my Astro family. This is Lada from astrolada.com with your weekly horoscope from the 18th to the 24th of November. I consider this to be the most important week in November this year because we're going to have a few very beneficial, very positive astrological events that are happening this week. One of them is that Mars is entering its own sign. When a planet enters its own sign, as you can see on the 19th, it starts manifesting in that sign. So every single of the 12 signs is going to manifest more in a certain area of their life through Mars, through initiative and action and strategy, because it's going into Scorpio. We're also going to have Mercury turning direct this week and becoming visible within 2 days, basically on the same day. And this is the awesome event because Mercury is so rarely visible. It's usually so close to the sun. And when it becomes visible, everyone that's ruled by Mercury, like Gemini, like Virgos, or people that are in mercurial jobs like me, communication, media, marketing, sales, anything that's to do with writing, with speaking, with communicating, they start to blossom. They start to have great results. And we also are having the amazing alignment of Jupiter, Venus. You see, Venus is conjunct Jupiter on the 24th on the galactic center, for which I talk more into my November 19, 2019 videos. And as you can see, such a positive, excitable week. We're going to speak about each of the 12 signs one by one. But first of all, you see behind me part of the 2019 calendar, and now I want to tell you that the 2020 electronic interactive calendar is out now. It's $20 only. Usually it's $30, but for the next 2-3 weeks I'm selling it at a sales price, and this time it's interactive. You can click on any of those positions and it takes you to an explanation to all of those. What does it mean when planet conjoins another, all the eclipses, all the moons, full moons, planets becoming visible, invisible. It's 118 pages. It's made with love, and it's your guidance for the year ahead 2020, and it's what it's going to be. But anyway, let's proceed with the week, the most important week in November. So as you can see, generally, let's first talk generally about the month, and then we're going to go about each of the 12 signs. And do please, if you have time, watch the beginning, because it gives you a much deeper understanding of the week ahead. And the week ahead is going to influence much longer period of time, because we're going to talk how Mars will influence you in each of the 12 signs. That's for a month and a half ahead as well. As you can see, most of the planets are focused in Scorpio and Sagittarius. The sun towards the end of the week, as you can see, also is moving to Scorpio. So we have a concentration of planets in Scorpio and Sagittarius, two very different signs. But what does it mean? Well, we're still in the middle of Mercury retrograde. It's turning direct on the 20th. But in the past 2-3 weeks, a lot of people went through some dark emotional moments. They were questioning themselves, because Scorpio rules past trauma. Scorpio rules our hidden demons, the depths of our soul, the invisible motivations, the things that we've buried in our subconscious that are making us act in certain compulsive ways, that are making us have certain fears that we don't even understand, phobias, fears, whatever it is. And with Mercury retrograde, we were digging deep. Maybe some of those fears, paranoias, worries, or post-traumatic symptoms for a lot of my clients. They were writing to me and saying, what is happening? I'm like, some of them at the start of Mercury retrograde, some of them a little bit before currently. And I'm saying Mercury retrograde is stirring all that dross at the bottom of your soul. All those fears are coming to the surface, and you're questioning them, because Mercury, when it goes retrograde in Scorpio, it wants to understand logically through the mind, why is something happening? And when you understand some trauma, that's what psychologists do. They make you talk through it. They hypnotize you to regress it, to re-experience it, to see it with your logical mind, which is Mercury. And then you make sense of it, and you make peace with it, and you release it. So I'm sure that quite a few had some kind of a crisis that happened, mental, psychological, or certain fears and phobias that are coming, or certain power struggles, certain things from the past that are emerging uh, but it was like a healing crisis to be released, to release the pus from the wound. And with Mercury turning direct, everything will start, you know, you'll get clarity, you'll understanding now. And all those internal feelings, they'll kind of would have evaporated to your body, leaving it purer, you know, like a cleansing, purging process. Also was so funny because so many people told me that they've been either throwing up or having diarrhea. This is very scorpionic in nature with all those planets in Scorpio, you know, the sun, Mercury retrograde. It's again, the body was cleaning itself. And but you know, through that darkness of Scorpio, through that questioning energy of Scorpio, what's happening now is like the questioning of the impeachment, you know, like investigating as well for President Trump, all such kind of things, digging deep, investigating. And a lot of people have been feeling in a kind of a small dark night of the soul, emotionally, psychologically, with a feeling of dread for some of them, with a feeling of internal gloom for some of them, or internal like very profound depth that they can't understand what it is, you know. And but at the same time, planets are starting to move more towards, you know, Sagittarius. The sun is going to move in Sagittarius, Jupiter and Venus are there. So we're not only going through this kind of dark night of the soul, Scorpio, this depth, this delving inside, going through a tunnel, but we're also seeing the end of the light of this tunnel, because Sagittarius, where the other energies are, it's the light. It's, you know, when you're passing through the tunnel of death, near death experiences, the tunnel is Scorpio. And you're like, oh, I'm dying, I'm disappearing, it's dark. There is nothing, gloom, what's happening, I don't know. And Sagittarius is the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like God waiting there to embrace you, or your higher self, to tell you that's why you went through all this pain. You know, you're back to your family. There is meaning, there is purpose to all of this. So symbolically, this is what's happening. That's what I'm feeling as well in the life of people, and continues this week, that they're going through some little crisis, psychological, emotional depth, digging deep, you know. But at the same time, Sagittarius energy planets is helping them tap into the deeper and to see the purpose and the meaning of that. Sagittarius is the sign of meaning. Sagittarius is the sign that answers the big questions. Why is that happening? What is the purpose of this? Why are we here? And once you come out of the hole, as they say, of the dark tunnel, now you have hope. Sagittarius is the sign of hope. So together with passing through this, you know, through those darker regions of Scorpio in our subconscious, through those transformational energies, you know, often when we're going through transformation, internal or external, and when planets are in Scorpio, a lot of us experience such things. We feel fearful, because what is on the other end of transformation? Well, it's Sagittarius. It's renewed hope, it's renewed faith, it's sense of lightness, of positivity, and we're having both simultaneously. So yes, you might be stuck in the tunnel of rebirth, but your head is already there. It's crowning, it's in Jupiter, and someone is giving you a hand to pull you out. And especially the Jupiter-Venus conjunction that's happening at the end on the 24th, you might start feeling it a few days before, is this hand of the angels that is pulling you out of the tunnel and telling you, okay, now you're at this exalted place high, and you can see the bigger picture, why it's all happening. And there's purpose, and there is reason, and there is hope. So, and they're aligning at the galactic center. The galactic center is known, is where the black hole in the middle of our not solar system, our galaxies, it's known as the energy of the Father. The sun is known as the energy of the sun, the Christ energy. The Father energy is the galactic center, you know, where all the other suns were created from. So the two great benefics, the two planets, Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, the great benefactor, and Venus, the planet of love, are aligning with the galactic center. A burst of insight will happen towards the end of the week, a burst of realization of why all this is happening, a kind of like, I don't know, like a little celebration within. And because of this huge energy that's coming from the galactic center and being filtered through the two most positive planets, Venus and Jupiter, and coming to us, each one of us will experience in certain area of their life a great divine boost of clarity, of understanding, of hope, of something positive happening on the material, on the spiritual level as well. So that's towards the end of the week. But before that, we're passing through Mercury going direct. And by the way, first, let's talk a little bit about Mars going into Scorpio. It continues those churning processes of churning of the soul, of bringing to the surface, and especially Mars is such an intervention planet. It's like a surgical instrument when it goes into Scorpio, and it's really gonna cut now the final pieces of the wound, the final festering pieces of the wound, like, and it's going to, and Mars is unapologetic when it's in Scorpio. It goes and gets the job done, the dirty job done. So the purging is continuing, but you're not tiptoeing around it anymore. You're like, and gives such strong willpower to go through that. And when Mars is in Scorpio, we stop fearing the dark. Till now, we were in Scorpio, we had just Mercury, the Sun, these are more gentle planets, but now the military leader is entering his own signs, who says, don't worry of the demons, don't worry of the scary things, of the crisis. So it gives you willpower and ability to overcome that fear and to do those things and to tread where angels fear and demons fear to tread as well, because this is your territory. This is the territory of Mars and Scorpio. So in certain areas of your life, you will start becoming almost like ruthless to the point of getting the job done, not dilly-dallying, getting the not only the dirty but the scary job, giving you a lot of courage and willpower and focus, like a pinpoint concentrated focus of action. And Mars in Scorpio doesn't act fast. What you'll notice that in certain area of your life, depending what your ascendant, sun, or moon is, you're going to become very strategic. And you're going to take the necessary, like, for example, if Mars is transiting your sixth house, health problem, and you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to make a plan, like a good general, and I'm going to go one after another, my enemies or whatever it is that's bugging me, the sixth house, health problems, and I'm going to annihilate them one by one. No more, no more with a feather, trying to solve a problem with a feather. Now with the axe, so to speak. So you see, you get that strong, resolved energy of Mars in Scorpio to get things done there, to interventionist energy. If something is wrong in that area of your life, intervention, you're doing it to yourself and you're not stepping around it, okay, and then Mercury is turning direct this week and visible. So if you've had any complications with communications, delays, if you're working on some project behind the scenes in visible Mercury, using your skills, writing, speaking, calculating, whatever skills you have that you've learned, working on some project or whatever, editing, revising, now you'll be able to bring it out to light over the next 2 weeks. A week before, a week after the Mercury going direct, and visible, you'll be able to bring it out. So I know that a lot of people that are writers, that are speakers, they'll bring out more videos, they'll bring out more articles, there'll be more successful marketing campaigns. People that are in sales will start having more sales. People that are in any activities that are with public speaking or writing or administrative work or documents or papers or traveling or any kind of commodities and sales business. Mercury's business overall, any communications, any exams, all of those things start moving forward in a very positive way. You're going to see the results, or new such ideas will be born, because Mercury is being born. If you've been working behind the scenes on something, fixing it, those problems will disappear. Now you'll be able to showcase whatever you've been preparing visibly now when Mercury becomes visible. Also, Geminis and Virgos will start feeling more empowered now. Whether it's your sun, moon, or ascendant, you're going to feel a lift up. You're going to start feeling visible in the public eye. You're going to see like, whoo, I'm back, bitches, whatever, And and also, if you are, they can be the birth of something new, mercurial in your life. It's like new campaign marketing, new sales, new job. Mercury rules jobs that use the mind, the intelligence, new contract, new ideas. Mercury rules any ideas, new collaborate. Mercury rules also associates of any sort. They can be like new writing projects, speaking projects, all of those things, new commercial project of any sort. business projects. So new people can appear in your life of Mercury nature. So that can be like younger people can come into your life, or people of intelligence, writers, speakers can appear. Some Gemini or Virgo can appear in your life. Some youthful energy as well. And of course, we have the sun going in Sagittarius. We talked about Sagittarius. It's the Christmas spirit really coming in now. This is the Sagittarius energy, definitely. And starting to feel more and more hopeful coming out of that tunnel while you continue to churn and get rid of certain issues for a month and a half with Mars and Scorpio. And of course, at the end, the grand Jupiter-Venus conjunction. If you want to hear more specific about the Jupiter-Venus conjunction, watch my November 2019 videos, because I really focus them on each sign of what Jupiter conjunct Venus will bring them. I'll mention them very shortly for each of the 12 signs now. And of course, we end the week with Mars opposition Uranus. But I think the Venus conjunct Jupiter will really soften that more stressful energy. When Mars opposes Uranus, we can feel a bit restless. We can feel a little bit like we act first before we think. And we can, but for some people it might be good. It can give them the push to do something new. It can give them the push to, to take some initiative, to try something new. Mars is action, to have courage. Uranus is something you've never done before. Just be careful that your anger is more easy to bubble up when Mercury is opposite Uranus. But because Venus and Jupiter conjunct the galactic center, something can save you there. Something like a higher perspective or more forgiving, loving state of mind, being more in the flow, can bring you out of the most stressful energy of Mars opposition Uranus. It's good time for sports. Mars opposition Uranus around the 23rd, 24th. Just be careful with electronic devices and accidents, because Mars opposition Uranus, we can be too, we're too kind of restless, too fast, and we forget safety measures, and we can just some accidents towards the end of the week. And let me just maybe change a little bit the background now, so my hair is not moving in and out all the time. So let's go through the 12 signs. Let's start with Aries. Okay, for you, Aries, Mars entering your 8th house, you're gonna go and deal ruthlessly and get things done for the next month and a half with all matters concerning, and you're gonna have initiative starting from this week, next week, but for a month and a half, with the whole November and December, you're going to deal with taxes, with insurances. You're going to be very active with maybe mutual resources and finances, resources that involve other people's money, clients, or investments of some sorts. You can get a lot of things done, solve a lot of problems there. They can also be very powerful to overcome when Scorpio goes into the 8th house, to have some kind of a psychological breakthrough, because the 8th house is those secrets, emotional, psychological things, and Mars is like a tool that operates those things, like a surgical, not operates, but a surgical intervention, basically, with some deep, dark state of your mind or some secret as well. And your actions, you can feel that your actions are a bit more secretive, but more deliberate. You're not gonna feel as reckless as Aries, just go, go, go. You're gonna, because Mars is your planet, it goes in Scorpio, so you become more Scorpio-like in your actions, a bit more deliberate, a little bit more like planning, strategizing, with more focus in one direction. Energy, so to speak. Yes, some power struggles can escalate, especially behind the surface, but also it indicates that there is deep psychological processes that are happening within you. The 12th house is also you being very proactive with, for example, gaining resources from other people or from clients. You can be very proactive with anything that will bring you your clients' resources, or you're going to fight for, maybe you might have to fight for certain resources of another person, but you kind of have the winning hand, resources that come to you from another. You can actively go after resources of another as well. And Mercury going direct in your 8th house as well, Aries, indicates that you can have some very positive manifestation. And if you've been working on some project, connected to business, that's connected to other people's resources, to insurances, inheritances, or you can you can bring out some projects connected to astrology, to the occult, to psychology. Now maybe articles connected to such eighth house topics: emergency, psychology, transformation, articles, media, anything that is with a message. Mercury is message, becoming visible in your eighth house, message, and documents and papers, all these things connected to the eighth house: emergencies, you know, psychology, astrology, uh, other people's resources, insurances, inheritances. You're going to go public with it. You're going to start seeing results there as well. If there are complications with mutual resources, so you know, with some investments you've made, these will be straightened out. You'll start seeing now good results in regards to that. Also, at the end of the week, we're going to have Venus-Jupiter conjunction in your ninth house areas. Something good can come to you as like an inspiration, like a new vision for the future, inspiration from high, some opportunity to travel, to study higher knowledge, wisdom, or you can receive some gains through educational activities, through teaching activities, through inspirational activities of any sort. Some luck is coming. The ninth house is lucky with the two luckiest planets there. You can feel luckier in different areas of life. You can feel more humanistic, more open-minded, more expanded towards the end of the week. Definitely more optimistic with the Sun, Jupiter, and Venus there. And generally, watch out for having more luck at the end. Then we're going to Taurus. Well, Taurus, Mars is entering your seventh house for a month and a half, which means that you're going to become very proactive in relationships, in pursuing collaborations with others. And actually, the best thing for you this month and even December is to collaborate with people, because most of the action is happening in your seventh and eighth houses. That's very much connected to others, relationships. There's a lot of focus on relationships. Your partner can become more proactive with Mars in the seventh house. You can be the one also that starts pushing your partner's business or personal into some activity, or they start pushing. It can go both ways, but not doing it alone, so to speak. It's almost like another person is your engine, motivates you, even if they stress you and aggravate you, because Mars is making opposition to your sign, which means like someone opposes you and says no, or we'll do it like that, or gets on your nerves. But that pushes you into action. That mobilizes your energies to get moving. And Mercury is turning direct in your seventh house. So definitely, and also if you're in business, for example, seventh house, business house, Mars going there makes you become much more proactive in pursuing new clients, and almost like you setting your rules of the contracts and putting people at the wall and forcing them to kind of do what you want as well. And of course, be careful for power struggles with others. When Mars is in the seventh house, starting from next week, you can have, you know, for a month and a half, at a certain period, maybe for about a week, you can notice that there is more aggravations from others, that others are pressing your buttons, but they're like an intervention force in you, trying to make you transform and move forward in some ways, because that's the energy of Scorpio. And others, you can notice that you see other people's bullshit and call them, but others see and call your bullshit unapologetically as well. And Mercury is turning direct and becoming visible in your seventh house. So matters concerning business deals, signing of contracts, relationships, they all start going well. If there are some complications in your relationship, some miscommunications with clients, or some delays in a contract, all those clear up, and you can see results and things start moving forward well, and you can come out with a message towards clients, towards others, towards your audience. This is the seventh house message, whether with sales, with marketing, with advertising, to bring things up, you know, with Mercury becoming visible. And they can be the birth of a new relationship, because Mercury is becoming born or visible in your seventh house. And the type of person that can be born might be partnership, or might be business partnership, or personal partnership, or very important relationship in your life that starts with someone very mercurial in nature, someone who is witty, who is clever, someone who is very skillful, very communicative, someone who is very business minded, someone who is well organized as well. So watch out for such people appearing in your life, bringing something new, in a positive way. So good manifestations through the seventh house, even though there is a bit of a stressful planet there, Mars, but when a planet is in its own sign, it manifests. So it can manifest through relationships, through collaborating with others, through, through reaching your audience, the seventh house. And of course, don't forget that in your eighth house, Jupiter and Venus are joining at the end of the week. Check out my November 2019 videos to see more detail about that, because it is, wonderful. I mean, Jupiter and Venus in your eighth house, you can gain something from others. So, you can receive some support, some hidden support, as well as the eighth house. Maybe some of you might have some psychological healing, some spiritual healing on a deep level, because the eighth house is that some great understanding of psychological reasons or secrets from the past. Some of you might have some gain from another person. Maybe, for example, if you can start getting a lot more money for a product or something, because it's also financial house. But to find out more, check out the 2019 videos, and of course check out my calendar 2020, which is 30% off for the next 3 weeks, in interactive calendar, 118 pages for all the important events of 2020. All right, then Gemini, Mars is entering your sixth house, with Mercury becoming visible there. So your sixth house is going to start manifesting. First of all, you're going to become way more proactive at your work, and way more proactive and apologetic to tackle health problems, because Mars is ruthless in Scorpio. It says no more monkeying around with my health, with my diet, willpower of steel. I'm going to tackle that problem. I'm going to go and destroy that enemy, the sixth house, the house of enemies. Actually, if you're in a fight with someone, if you have some competitor or enemy, like in a battle court with someone, or just some kind of a animosity at work, someone is doing shit stuff for you, Well, now with Mars transiting the sixth house, you can win that battle. You can get the upper hand. It does indicate that there is some kind of conflict, but you come on the top of it. And you can resolve such issue, and your strategy to act is not to be like soft and sweet. It's you go and confront. That the strategy of Mars. If you have anyone that is creating some trouble for you, this is sixth house. If anyone is creating, and if you're creating some trouble for yourself, it's your enemies, the sixth house. Whether it's the way you live, the way you eat, often we're our own enemies. Or you're going to tackle that. Mars will give you the willpower, and Mercury will give you the ability to plan, strategize for that as well when it becomes visible, to manifest it, to be more, organized in that. Or whether it's out external enemies that, say, someone at work, because sixth house also rules work, that is creating trouble for you. You're going to be able to tackle that again, and you go confront, and you say, get angry almost. Or no, Mars in Scorpio doesn't get so angry. Mars in Scorpio is strategic, but faces you, doesn't do shitty things, kind of behind your back. You'd say Scorpio is a hidden sign, but Scorpio, if you know Scorpio, people confront. They don't talking behind your back and then pretend it's all good. Usually they don't. We can't say for all. But also Mercury becoming visible in your sixth house means that you can, for example, now if you're in some health industry or whatever, your business can start picking up. If you're in any industry that works with disadvantaged or those in need, or if you're in industry connected to nutrition or military, or such kind of sixth house things will start really picking up, really becoming positive for you. Can be good to do. And you say you have a nutritional business or health conscious business, you can now do a new marketing strategy. Mercury becoming visible, they can give birth to that, for example. Or you can give birth. Mercury becoming visible in your sixth house can indicate a new job for some of you, or the birth of a new job project. So if you want to get a job, employment, apply now. Or if you're trying to find an employee, you can find a really good one now with Mercury becoming visible in your sixth house. or a new project again, as I said. And then we have the great, beautiful Jupiter-Venus conjunction with the galactic center in your 7th house. I mean, something great can come to you from a relationship, in the life of your partner, from a contract, from an agreement, from another person, some gift from the universe to you from another person, some gift from the universe to you from clients. 7th house is clients, relationship, business, audience, something very good like a gift. And some of you might even need an important person that, or make an important contract, or make an important business collaboration now, or if they have such, it can give very positive results now. They can see, like, reap the rewards. And to find out more, watch my November 2019 videos about the Jupiter-Venus conjunction with the Galactic Center. There's a lot more there. And also don't forget that the 2020 interactive 118 pages calendar with all the astrological events from eclipses, transits is out, and you can basically purchase it for 30% off for the next 2-3 weeks. It's my 4th one this year. People really love it. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next sign, Cancer. Cancer, for you, Mars is entering your 5th house, and you're gonna become very more, and for a month and a half ahead, you can become way more proactive in pursuing enjoyments, pleasures of any sorts, in pursuing love as well. Even if you're married, you're gonna become more initiative and strategic in planning fun times with your partner to rekindle the romance and the sex. Mars is a very sexy planet, to rekindle the intensity there, but through fun of some sort, or maybe even pick up sports together, or maybe pick up, you know, it's actually when Mars enters one's 5th house, one starts enjoying sport for fun way more. Also, you can become way more proactive with any kind of creative activities. You can start getting, and Mercury becoming visible in your 5th house as well, and direct, you're going to give birth of new creative ideas, new creative projects. For example, if you have your own business, Mercury becoming visible in the 5th house, you can come with your own idea. 5th house is your own idea. That is very original, how to sell something, how to market, or a new project, or maybe a new website. You know, both Mars and Mercury are collaborating almost for 2-3 weeks ahead to bring that to you, to bring for a couple of weeks, I think, ahead. Mars continues after that. To bring, like, to a new project, to get you active on it, which is more creative, which gives you joy. Also, for some of it can be the birth of a new romantic experience. Mercury is becoming visible. Mercury, where is it? Mercury in Scorpio. What am I putting here? I think I put the wrong one. Oops. Sorry. Yes, so I must have. I'll just change the background. Sorry. So Mercury is becoming visible in your 5th house, which means the birth of a new creative idea, the birth of a new hobby as well that you're very passionate about, something that you excite you, the birth of a new, maybe some new pleasure can happen, pleasure trip, or the birth of a new romantic experience, new romantic, something that you do together with your romantic partner, some mutual hobby that you start enjoying that connects you romantically. Or if you're single, a new romantic relationship can come in. It's going to carry the qualities of Mercury and Saturn. Someone youthful, younger, both of those planets are younger, someone with zest, with more ambition and drive, and someone that's witty and clever, maybe has a biting tongue because they're both in Scorpio, someone that can, you know, with very strong words can penetrate to the bottom of a problem as well. But there's this youthfulness energy, Mercury, Mars there as well, this cheeky energy almost. And if you've had some Mercury turning direct and becoming visible in your 5th house, if you've had some complications in love and romance, some things came up with a romantic partner, these will be straightened out, these will be resolved. If there were some problems or difficulties with your children, some extra effort, some extra, you know, some delays there. This usually when Mercury becomes visible in the 5th house and direct, this will be resolved as well. And if you've been working on some creative project, now you can show it to the public finally. Now you can launch it when Mercury becomes visible. And then we have Venus Jupiter conjunction at the end of the week in your sixth house, Cancer, of health. It can give you a solution of a long-lasting health problem. It can give you a solution and reward for some work project that you've been doing. It can give you a solution to finding the right employee, for example, or the right team. It can give you some great gift in regards to clarity and understanding in regards to some problem or some issue that you've been having with some enemy or some adversary of some sort. And it can also give you for example, some reward for work or something, some really wonderful work project, and improve conditions there. But to find out more, watch out my November 2019 video that I talked about the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. And don't forget that my calendar 2020 is 30% off for the next 2-3 weeks with 118 pages interactive. You click on the calendar, it takes you to the interpretation of a transit, eclipse, planet becoming visible, invisible. So that's your guiding light for the year 2020 ahead. So let's go to the next sign, Leo. Leo, you're going to have Mars entering your fourth house and Mercury becoming visible there. Well, what does it mean? You're going to become very proactive with things regarding your home and family. You're going to fix a lot of problems there, almost like very fast. You'll be like, okay, enough dilly-dallying, enough delays. That's it. I'm getting things done. If the garden has to be done, I'll do it. If this has to be fixed, I'm taking a strategy and fulfilling it. Bam, bam, bam. And I'm following through with all of that. No more delays. So if you've been doing some home renovations, Mercury turning direct there, now you can complete that. If you've been trying to sell property and contracts or buy or whatever, Mercury turns direct, becomes visible, now goes through. If you're trying to, if there was some problem with family members, some arguments or whatever, Mercury turns direct, becomes visible, you start resolving that issue. And Mars pushes you to start being much more active at home, to maybe can be a good time to move things around, to do something together with your family, in a productive way. But don't forget that Mars in the fourth house can always make you for a month and a half ahead a little bit more volatile emotionally, more willing to fight a bit more. But it's not in a way that you're digging old issues and chewing over old problems with your family and close people and having bitter resentments about them. It's more like problem comes, you solve it quickly because Mars is moving direct, Mercury is moving direct day in your fourth house, or some kind of an altercation comes with family members, someone triggers you emotionally. It doesn't have to be on family members, people. Someone can trigger you just emotionally. Well, you're going to deal with that quickly and move forward as well. And yes, but it's also a good time when you can really release a lot of because Mars in Scorpio is like intervention planet that releases built up toxins, emotional toxins in regards to the fourth house for you, in regards to family, in regards to family members, in regards to, things that you've been holding up. Now you kind of release them and get rid of them, and it can have a very cathartic experience of cleansing the past, cathartic experience of cleansing some resentments almost. Can first trigger them, but you quickly pass through them. And again, as I said, you're gonna get and deal with a lot of, and if you're trying to relocate or move or something like that, again, fourth house, there's two planets there of they manifest. Mercury manifests in a sign. A planet in its own sign, Mars and Scorpio, also manifests. You're gonna be able to start manifesting in regards to all domestic, home, and parental issues that you have. See good results, problems with parents or whatever as well. Okay, so, and some of you, Mercury being born in your fourth house can indicate new property, or it can indicate the birth of a new member, or the addition of a new member in your family, or the birth of a new rules in the family, because Mercury rules that we make, rules of the game, the birth of new contract connected to home and family, or the birth of the receiving of documents and papers for citizenships for some of you. Okay, and the birth of a family trip, Mercury's trips as well. The birth of help with family, you know, and parental issues of any sorts. And then don't forget that we, at the end of the week, Leo, there is the Jupiter-Venus conjunction in your fifth house. I speak a lot about it in my November 2019 videos. Do check it if you want more in-depth information. But something amazing can happen, like a gift of Jupiter before it leaves Sagittarius on the romantic scene, like a very beautiful experience romantically, or a child, fifth house, the house of children, something very beautiful or positive or healing can happen in the life of a child, or in the life of with in your love life with a romantic partner, new or existing one, or some very pleasant experience. Fifth house, to have fun, to enjoy something, a hobby, or maybe a hobby that you have or something you're passionate about can reward you in some way. Also, you can get inspiration because it's aligning with the galactic center, Venus and Jupiter. They are an inspiration and joy of life, connect some creative idea, or you know, that rewards you in some way. And don't forget that if you can have a date, have it towards the 24th, when Jupiter and Venus are there aligning in your fifth house of love and romance. It can have like a burst of cosmic love that comes through the galactic center, or some kind of creative inspiration for some new project, but that you think of, you know, and some kind of almost spiritual joy of life that you experience. And don't forget that my 2020 to 118-page electronic interactive calendar is out with the meaning of the eclipses, of all the transits, all the aspects between the planets. You know, it's not personal for you, it's for the whole year, basically. What I showed you at the beginning, and that's one of my best-selling products, with just one refund because, or two, because someone thought it was personal calendar rather than for the whole year. Okay, and it's 30% off for the next 2-3 weeks. Then we go to Virgo. Virgo, Mars is entering your third house, where Mercury is also becoming direct and visible. So you're becoming extremely active in the sphere of communication, proactive. You're going to pursue collaborations with others. Third house is clients as well. It's a business house. It's house of marketing, advertising, sales, and Mercury becoming the visible. If you're in any kind of profession that is connected to sales, to marketing, to advertising, to communication, to writing, to media, to speaking, to teaching, to training, wow, you're entering a very busy, very productive, in a positive way period. You're going to be able to manifest. You can launch articles now that can reach wider audiences when Mercury becomes visible. And when Mars, you know, enters the Scorpio, you can launch products, commercial activities that give great results. You can send letters. You can connect with people if you have some papers or applications to send somewhere, some documents to fill, something to apply somewhere, for whatever it is. That is third house in nature, or some training to start. Now is the time. Now it's going to happen. Also, if there were some complications with neighbors, with relatives, with workmates, teammates, while Mercury was retrograde, some kind of power struggles there, some issues, some secrets or stresses. Now Mercury turning direct and forward, your working small group, or your working team, or your relationships with neighbors, siblings, relatives will start improving. So there'll be a resolution of some issue. There were some complications with softwares, with documents and papers, some complications with lost emails, some complications with confused communication, some complications with broken phones, laptops, hacked passwords. During Mercury retrograde in your third house, now Mercury becomes visible and forward, and those get resolved. And if you've been working behind the scenes on some product or project, or developing some skills, now you can launch them publicly into the, you know, to become visible, basically post articles, videos, things like that. Now is the time. When Mercury becomes visible, you'll reach wider audiences, more clients, more sales. And if there were complications in communications, they'll get sorted out. But you will be with Mars there, you continue to pursue that for a month and a half, and you follow a strategy, and you get a lot of done in those third house activities, organizing trips, and lots of on and off, lots of short trips back and forth as well. Very busy time. There is this energy of busyness, and often it's very good time for business. Third house is busy house of business. Mars, when it enters its own house, you can start manifesting in such kind of business to get a lot of things organized and moving. And then don't forget that the beautiful, great Venus alignment with the galactic center is happening at the end of the week in your fourth house, Virgo, which means something good, something blessing. Some blessing can come to you from home, from property. You can find the right home, you can find the right property, you can sell or buy property, or they can be like a spiritual message from a departed parent, or they can be a healing about some family drama or some family pain, or they can be finding the right thing for home, or uh, you know, so things connected to traveling, to journeys. Third house, start moving forward and getting very well in communications. And fourth house, family. But to find out more, especially fourth house is connected to happiness, emotional happiness, inner peace. Check out my November 2019 videos, because where I speak there a lot about the Venus Jupiter conjunction. And not only that, but check out my 2020 calendar, 118 pages, interactive calendar for all the important astrology events of 2020. And it's interactive. You click on the calendar and it gives you the meaning. But you can download it, have it, print it, download it, and have it on your laptop. And it's only $20. It becomes 30 after that. Then we go to Libra. Libra, Mars is moving into your second house, starting to manifest in that second house because it's in its own sign. You're going to start manifesting in regards to money. You're going to become more proactive. You're going to start having a strategy. If there was some and Venus, and Mercury is becoming visible and direct there. If there was some complications with finances, with resources, with anything connected to maybe extra expenses that happened during the Mercury retrograde, maybe some delays with payments or some kind of procrastination with resources or materials that you need or that you have to receive, all that will be sorted out now. And some of you have to reevaluate their own worth, how you price yourself during the Mercury retrograde. Well, now when it becomes visible, you're going to be able to come up with renewed self-worth and price yourself better, and value yourself better. And you're going to present to the people this value. It's going to start oozing through your ears because you've set like a new set of values for you after you re-examine them. And that is going to pay off by receiving more monetary rewards in some way, or receiving something important, tangible as a reward as well, starting to make more money. Okay, and pursue them because Mars is there as well. And it's also your eating habits, the second house. So I often say if you revised how you eat during Mercury retrograde. Funny enough, my husband is Libra rising, and during this Mercury retrograde, we became vegans. So if I collapse here from lack of iron from one of those videos, forgive me. But we'll see how it goes. So far, so good. Occasional dizzy spells here and there. But yeah, so as a Libra rising, Mercury retrograde in the second house revised his health, especially what we eat, what he eats. And now when Mercury becomes visible and Mars enters, they can have further willpower to follow through. A new type of diet can appear in your life, a new interest towards food, because Mercury is what we're interested in, what we read about. If you're in any industries that is second house connected, which is food industry, which is money industry, which is resource industry, which is energy industry of any sort, which is teaches about money or whatever, or storage, archives. Now you're going to start having really productive period. You can, for example, Mercury's business becoming visible in the second house. All those second house businesses that I talked about, or beauty industry, or industry of fashion, styles, anything of the five senses. You might make material or fashions, or or glasses for the eyes, or hairstyling. All those are second house Careers, you can, for example, post really great articles now, so you can launch a new marketing campaign, you can reach more audiences, because Mercury and Mars, very very manifesting planets in Scorpio, are becoming entering there, and Mercury is becoming visible there. And then Libra, you're gonna have the great Jupiter-Venus conjunction with the galactic center in your third house. Something really good can come, and something like a gift from the universe to you, like a small journey, or from relatives. You can connect with relatives or neighbors, so you can receive some great gift in the sense of even like a laptop, communication device, or reach larger audiences, or receive rewards for some skill that you have, and you get rewarded for that skill, or maybe some article that you've written, some third house rules, marketing, advertising, sales, campaigns of any sorts that you do, reaching people. Well, now you can get rewarded for that with the Venus conjunction Jupiter. Something good can happen in the life of your siblings, or in a small team environment, for example, some success with the team, or that you've been working on some project that you launch, or the rewards of that project, because third house is a very business house as well. So, you know, but to find out more, I speak way more in depth about the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in my November 2019 videos. Check those out to hear it. I speak about way more topics there. And my 2020 calendar is out, 30% off, only $20, 118 pages of all the important astrological events. Many of you already have them. I think we sell like 7,000-8,000 every year. So just to let you know, it's out if you want to get it, or it's at the discounted price. And this time it's also interactive. Yeah, becoming more computer savvy now. So you click on it and it gives you the meaning, takes you to the meaning. Okay, so the next sign, Scorpio. Ooh, things are getting very good for you, Scorpio. Okay, you might have had a little bit of a crisis with Mercury retrograde in your sign, but now it's turning direct and becoming visible. And the planet that rules you, Mars, the traditional ruler, is entering your sign. So you're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel energy now. You're going to start feeling like you can hold the reins again, that you're in power. The king is back in the kingdom, and it's taking control. So you're going to feel like, whew, I feel like myself again. You know, I can control and manipulate just with the look, just with the power of my mind. No, I'm kidding. But yes, your planet, when a planet enters its own sign, it starts manifesting them. And then also when Mercury, according to ancient Gemini astrology, when a planet that rules a sign enters it, and Mercury or Jupiter there, this sign becomes double manifesting power. So you are having double manifesting power, Scorpio, starting from this week. Plus more drive, more ambition, more energy with Mars. More, especially Mars rules also your sixth house, maybe ambition towards work, to fixing problems, to getting things done, to annihilating problems and your enemies. This is the sixth house. To getting more healthy, more physically active as well. But of course, you might feel more murderous with Mars there, so more ruthless. But the best thing is to tackle your enemies ruthlessly. I mean, like the things that the things that are unhealthy for you, and to tackle ruthlessly problems, you know, rather than deal with people. But people might find you a bit too much with Mars there, but you're gonna feel the strength, you know, and you're gonna feel more motivated than other times gradually. But of course, more easy to react. But because you're Scorpio, you kind of count to 7 and make a plan, and then you gradually do it step by step. And Mercury is becoming visible in your sign, helping you whatever plans for action you have to really follow them through, because Mercury is the plan maker, you know. And Mercury becoming visible in your sign, which means that they can be the birth of new Mercury projects, like a new business project, the birth of a new communication project, writing project, the birth of a new anything that's business related, basically, anything that's writing, speaking, anything that is making contact, new clients. So if you have anything important to do in the sphere of Mercury. Now is the time. Now it's going to become visible. Now it's going to give results when Mercury becomes direct and visible. And there can be new social contacts that get born as well with Mercury becoming visible in your sign. And if there was any complications during Mercury retrograde, delays in some mercurial projects, business, or or study projects, or documents, or agreements, or business deals, project delays or complications, now they will be solved, and now they start giving results. And or if you were working behind the scenes on some project using a lot of your skills, this is Mercury, to use your mind, your skills, your it's not talents, but it's things that you've learned to do through your logical mind. So now, if you usually, when Mercury is retrograde in a sign, we have a lot of those things to do. And sometimes it's frustrating. We have to edit them, we have to fix them, things don't always go according to plan. But now Mercury becomes visible and direct. You'll be rewarded for those efforts. You're going to start seeing results. Maybe you've been preparing for some public speaking, or for some conference, or for some launching of a project. Now it will go and all becomes perfect. Maybe you've been working with a team on some project, whatever, or developing something that requires writing, that requires knowledge, skills of any sort. Well, now will be the birth of it, and you'll be rewarded. If you're a writer, speaker, intellectual, scientist, things are moving ahead. You'll be heard, you'll be seen, your voice will be heard. And don't forget that we have the Jupiter-Venus conjunction at the end of the week in your second house. Before Jupiter leaves your second house, it can give you a gift, maybe monetary reward, some financial reward, maybe some clarity on understanding, on knowledge about resources, how to handle them, where to find them, maybe something that you've always wanted to possess that you consider very valuable as well, maybe a gift of healing of some nutritional problem. But to find out more about this Jupiter-Venus conjunction with the Galactic Center, watch my videos for November 2019. They're way more in depth talking about that. And my calendar 2020 is out, Scorpio, so 118 pages with all the important astrological events. 2020, it's interactive as well. I'm getting better and better with computers and software. And yeah, one of my best-selling projects, one of the ones I'm always very excited about, and it's 30% off for 2-3 weeks. Then Sagittarius. Yeah, you lucky bastards. Jupiter-Venus conjunct in your sign with the Galactic Center. And not to mention that you always have the Galactic Center in your sign. That's why you're such smart asses, because you're downloading directly from the center of the galaxy. Of course, you're the teachers, so what can I say? It's truly, you are the teachers. The Galactic Center is in your sign currently. In a few hundred years, it won't be, but then it will be others. It will be Scorpios that become the smart asses. But anyway, Sagittarius, let's first start with Mars entering your 12th house and Mercury. According to ancient Gemini astrology, very ancient astrology, 5,000 years old, when a planet that rules a sign enters it, and when Mercury or Jupiter are there, and we have Mercury in your 12th house, and Mars is entering it, his own sign, you're going to manifest in that house for good stuff. So what can you manifest? For some of you, it can indicate that in the next 2-3 weeks, you can manifest a foreign travel or relocating to faraway place. Some of you might manifest as well. It's anything to do with import, export, faraway places. Some of you can manifest, and Mercury is becoming born in that 12th house. The birth of something new there, the birth of a new spiritual interest, the birth of a new mystical experience for those who are more evolved, a birth of a new 12th house is the house of imagination, new creative, imaginative idea, something your imagination, your crazy, sick imagination. Of course, Scorpio is imagination. It's in the 12th house. It's going to give birth to something beautiful, something new, and you're going to act on it, Mars. So you might notice yourself being very active next week, or, behind the scenes, basically in your subconscious, in your imagination. Your dreams might get very active. You can notice that you're even getting like birth of new ideas in your dreams, or in semi-asleep state, or in the meditative state, or when you're zoned out at the TV. The 12th house is when you're kind of in a rest zone, when you're not, your mind is not actively working. You're either sleeping, or you're staring in a spot, or you're in nature, or you're actively meditating. Well, something will be born there with the birth of Mercury and Mars entering. So some new idea, your imagination. Actually, the 12 houses where we download information from the invisible realms. You can even download it whole, this idea that comes to you when Mercury becomes visible. And because Mars enters there, you can start acting on it. You're not going to announce it maybe yet, but you're going to start actively going after it to make it a reality, you know. And also the 12th house is one of our houses where we have our demons. So Mars entering there, it can stir them a bit. You can notice like fears and angers, especially Mars rules angers, that were buried below. You can start having like more aggressive dreams, but it's healing. It's a process of healing. In the dreaming, in the process of dreaming, you're healing this kind of suppressed aggression. Yes, kill them in your dream. It's okay. No, don't do it in real life. And then you're like, oh, peace, good. I killed them. You know, I killed my whatever best friend. But it's kind of, dreams are healing influence, you know. And if we experience those, and a lot of healing will be happening through your dreams, or through some internal work, through some meditation, through 12 houses rules counseling with psychologists, with psychics. You can receive a message as well. Mercury is being born. Message becomes visible and audible from the invisible world. Maybe a psychic. If you have a reading with a psychic next week, or with an astrologer, someone who is messenger between you and the invisible world, you're going to hear some of the most correct information. Some of the message that is very on point, because Mercury is visible, Mars is entering there, really fructifying that 12th house, making you manifest, and your imagination becomes crazy wild as well. And as I said, it might be a fantastic time to really eliminate some inner fears, because Mars is ruthless when it enters the 12th house. And again, as I said, it can happen spontaneously in the process of sleeping. And also it can be a good time for you to faraway trips and journeys. What else is 12th house? Some research. Oh, you can now, if you've been researching something, you can find the results. You can have like a eureka moment. If you've been spending weeks or whatever thinking on some problem behind the scenes, trying to solve some, because the 12th house is being isolated, spending time alone, usually in laboratories, in study, preparing a PhD or something, where you have to do a lot of like alone time, almost like in a meditative state. Now you can have like the eureka moment, receive the answer for that, you know, with Mercury being born there. And also if you're in businesses that the 12th house, they're going to start going really well. So if you're in spiritual counseling, in psychology, in guidance of any sort, spiritual guidance, if you're in music writing, in directing, if you're in film industry, anything with the imagination, anything with the again, that you have to stay in a studio, or artistic studio of some sort, you know, whether you're a designer, whether you're architect, now you can give birth of something. This moment spent in an artistic studio, a new idea can be born, or a new project that becomes visible and ready there for you. All right. And then we're having and that also indicates active preparations behind the scenes for something. And then we're having the Jupiter-Venus conjunction in your sign, Sagittarius. Especially those that are born towards the end of Sagittarius, they'll feel it so strongly, but it's blessing your whole sign. So what can I say? Before Jupiter leaves your sign, and I want to speak a little bit here, because I had so many people say this was the most disappointing Jupiter in my sign here ever, you know, whether you're Jupiter, Sagittarius, rising, sun or moon. A lot of Sagittarius said like, it was, nothing came to me. Things were taken away from me. And a lot of Sagittarius had an awesome year as well. But for those of you who had more losses, I want to tell you that there's a small group of people who had also Neptune influence, and maybe if you're those number of people, Neptune overpowers Jupiter. But still, when Jupiter transits your sign, even if you thought that everything was lost, Jupiter wants to liberate you of something that's a burden, because Jupiter, when it transits your sign, wants to create a new beginning in your life. can give you an example. My ex-husband, Jupiter was transiting his ascendant when I left. We separated, and he said that was the worst year of his life. Now ask him, with a baby and a wonderful new life, he would say that was the best thing that ever happened to me. So something happens to you during Jupiter transiting your sign that wants to put you on a new path for the next 12 years. That is going to be your biggest blessing. And the seeds of what was sown with Jupiter transiting through your sign might only start blooming. There are 11 years for them to bloom. You know, you might not be still seeing the seeds, but believe me, something really good was planted for you with a new beginning. It might have been a new idea, a new inspiration. You might have been sometimes like released from something that you thought you really wanted. But that was the biggest blessing. You might not be aware of it still, because especially Neptune is sending aspects to Jupiter in your sign. So a lot of Sagittarius, Neptune confuses us, and we think like it's a loss rather than thinking that it was a blessing. But down the line, you realize that was the best thing that could have happened, unless, of course, for some people, it's like a death and loss of someone. Like, I'm not speaking about that. Like, but there is something you were put on a new path. And now, I want to tell you that with Jupiter aligning to Venus in the galactic center, the universe wants to kind of correct some of those more, for those of you that had a little bit more of a hard time, Sagittarius, but for many others, it was time of abundance, growth, new opportunities as Sagittarius. But it's like the last gift of Jupiter, like made 3 times more powerful through a burst through the galactic center, the impulse through the galactic center that makes it vibrate way more powerfully. And Venus is also a gift. I think Jupiter will aligning with Venus in the galactic center will give you some opportunity now, some gift, something lucky. Align, say a prayer, because God is directly listening to you. Venus and Jupiter align straight to you, to God. The galactic center is the father figure in the triplicity, God, Father, and Holy Spirit. So it might be like a spiritual realization, the realization about the direction you have in your life ahead, or some kind of even psychic counsel, or because Jupiter rules coaches, guides, a guide, or it might be your higher self that now gives you suddenly, like in a burst of clarity, answers as to your future, where you're heading, what's the reason about those things, all those losses that might have happened as well. And you're going to start feeling more and more yourself from the end of the week as well, with the sun entering Sagittarius, and then the new moon on the a few days after that in Sagittarius. After that, you'll be brand new Sagittarius. So check out the November videos as well for more in-depth, because in each video I say different stuff. I talk there about Venus conjunct Jupiter and what it can bring you, Sagittarius, more specifically. And don't forget that my 2020 video horoscopes are out. There's $6.99 for 2-3 days more till the 21st. And my 2020 calendar is out, 118 pages of interactive electronic calendar with all the important days, all the important astrological events, eclipses, planets becoming visible, invisible, what it means, planets conjunct, oppositions, retrogrades, directs. Check them out. It's 30% off just for 2 weeks. So it's only $20. It's like a whole book, basically. So thank you. And then we move to Capricorn. So we're going to have 2 signs manifesting strongly for you. First is Scorpio, where Mars is entering, a planet that's ruling its own sign is entering it, that it starts manifesting. And the ancient rule of Gemini astrology is that if a planet that rules a sign enters it, you're going to manifest there. And if Mercury or Jupiter is also there, we have Mercury there, you're going to have double manifesting power there. So where is that double manifesting power for you, Capricorns? And it's not just for next week. It's starting next week, but you'll notice it for 2-3 weeks. It's in your 11th house. Gains, rewards, the best house according to traditional astrology. Money, or, rewards from a bonus. Some of you, and Mercury is being born there, becoming visible. You can receive an opportunity for a bonus. So you can, the birth of a new recognition of some sort, acknowledgement of some sort, the birth of a new gaining opportunity as well. Especially 11th house is very business house. If you're in business of any sort, it can mean like birth of new clients, birth of new projects that are commercially new networking projects as well that connect you to the right people. Someone that's really well connected can appear in your life, and quite proactive because Mars is also there. Also, you can make networking connections with people that are more youthful in energy, full of new ideas, Mercury, Mars, and that are very savvy, business savvy, Mercury, that are very kind of go, 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 Mars, and strategic at the same time because Mars is in Scorpio, that are kind of like sharks almost, but these are beneficial. These contacts, these connections can be beneficial for you. Often it can also be the birth of a new friendship, appearing, or some kind of, it's not necessarily like blood friendship, but it's something that can be beneficial for you in some way, a mutual goal, a friendship that connects you through mutual goal. It can be a financial, it can be economical, it can be a social goal. And it can be, for some of you, might be the birth of being accepted to some club, to some organizations that will forward your interests ahead, that will connect you to the right people, gaining access to some kind of network of people that can be beneficial, And it can, as I said, if you're in business, you are starting a really good run for a few weeks with Mercury becoming visible there. If you have to launch products to bring them to the public, the 11th house, do it when Mercury becomes visible. If you have to launch articles, anything, a message to bring out to the public, you're going to do it now, and it's going to start having results. And if you're employed for someone, the 11th house is like you're going to become much more proactive, maybe in pursuing a bonus of some sort, and maybe even manifest it. On another level, it's your goals. The 11th house is long-term goals and dreams. It can be the birth of a new such one with Mercury becoming visible there. It can be the birth of a new and you starting proactively to pursue that goal, to get the right connections, do the right, things with Mars there. And as well, don't forget that you're going to have Jupiter and Venus conjunct in your 12th house with the galactic center this week. So something really good can come to you from this 12th house. And the 12th house is those who have departed behind. They can be like a message from them. They can be like a blessing from the invisible world that comes to you. Some blessings like the completion of some karma, something painful you've been carrying. It can be completed now. You can be released in an easy, soft, gentle way, because 12th house is the karmic, completing a karmic cycle. Jupiter and Venus, the best planets through the dispensation of the galactic center, which corresponds to the father energy. It's some divine grace can release you from burden, through pain, through some fear, through some crippling self-sabotaging behaviors is the 11th house, or even self-harming behaviors and addictions of any sort. Or you can also receive invisible support from others. Or if you've done something good in the past, maybe in a past lifetime, maybe before, it will come to you from a source you didn't expect. The 12th house is a source we didn't expect, invisible to us, that we were not aware of, and some help comes to you from there, some support, some good well-wisher is talking behind your back good things for you, puts in a word for you that you are not aware about. 12th house is also the house of to rest, escape. So it can be a gift from the universe, like a good spa retreat, or some journey, opportunity to journey far away, or some new spiritual indulging and pleasure. And actually, not only that, but spiritual upliftment through message from the invisible worlds, through some mystical research, or even if you are in therapy, communicating, therapy is the 12th house, psychology, or studying mystical, the subconscious, mystical sciences. If you're in any such business, it can be a great boost for its business when Jupiter is in this 12th house for you. And for more, I speak a lot more, But for more about on the Jupiter-Venus conjunction, check out the November 2019 videos. I go way more in depth there about that conjunction. All right, and then we go to Aquarius. Aquarius, you're going to start manifesting a lot in that 10th house in regards to career. You're going to become visible there now. Mars, the planet that rules your career, is entering it, whether it's your sun, moon, or ascendant in Aquarius. So you're going to become very proactive, very busy for a month and a half. It's go, 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 go in regards to career. But you're making an impact and you're manifesting with, Mars enters your 10th house in Scorpio just once every 2.5 years. And you have a rare chance to up your social status by really pressing the button, the pedal to the bottom. So you're gonna have to force yourself a bit more, to put a lot of energy. And you're not gonna force yourself, you're gonna be forced. You're gonna have the energy to put into your career, into your public image, into making a difference, into your worldly actions that will be recognized. By the end of this period, you would have improved your social status. You would have, through all the things that you've gotten done, Mars's actions there, very proactive. You can proactively pursue a job, or you can be the birth of a new career for some of you, that you proactively pursue Mars. You're not sitting on your bums, you go after that. But Mercury is being born in your 10th house. They can be a new career project, something that really excites you, something new that is born, some new ideas that you bring to the public in your career, that you get noticed about, and it's mercurial. It's either a product, or it's either some information, or it's some kind of a plan, or it's some kind of knowledge, or skill, that it's going to impact that your career, to put it higher, or to get, or some of you can mean getting a new job, getting a new boss. If you're employed, the birth of Mercury in your 10th house, the birth of a new job, the birth of a new boss, the birth of a new project. And that's where a lot of your focus will be. But definitely, and Mercury is turning direct, so if there was any delays with career projects, they will be resolved. If there were some complications, like me, while Mercury was retrograde in my 10th house as an Aquarius rising, I was just catching up on the 2020 videos and on the 2020 calendar, which is coming out. And I was just editing behind the scenes, this is wrong, fix that, no, write this, oh, I'm missing this transit, let me write it. I thought I was ready to release those a month ago, and Mercury retrograde comes, and I'm like, I'm still digging at them, and when Mercury turns direct, whoa, okay, and becomes visible, you can release a project, it will be much better than originally you thought. And that's why my calendar now for 2020 is actually interactive. I never thought I could do that. Mercury retrograde came and forced me to put more effort. And now you can click on, say, Jupiter conjunct Venus in 2020. Oh, this is what it means. So it's interactive. It's 30% off for the next 2-3 weeks. Check out that calendar, guys. And because after, it's 118 pages as well. So all the important events, retrogrades, directs, visible, invisible planets, all the aspects, eclipses are there. So talking about Mercury becoming visible in your 10th house, now you've been working on something, it starts giving results, you get recognized, you get put in the public image. Yeah, but a lot, Mars is like, go, go, go. You can't be slacking for the next month and a half. And then the great Jupiter-Venus conjunction is really blessing us. Before Jupiter leaves for Capricorn, it makes one grand gesture towards us by aligning with the divine galactic center, the energy of the Father, and with Venus, divine love. So it's going to give us a gift. If you've been working on something, the 11th house, the house of rewards, the rewards. So it's like a gift if you've been working something, and it's nowadays it's also a monetary house. Rewards like earnings, gains. So for some Aquarius, it can be big gains as a result of having worked on something. If you've made the right connections, they can be a big reward through having a monetary or social recognition of some sort, by having collaborated or created the right networks. It can also give you, connect you to really good people that can be beneficial to you in some way. You can receive, because 11th house is networks and benefactors. You can receive through a benefactor or through some you know, networking of some sort, the gain or more publicity or more public reach as well. It's fantastic time if you want to do something to reach wider audiences as well. Also some friends, some blessings can come to you from friends or from some activity that involves large groups of like-minded people. It might be online, it might be in life as well. So attending some seminar, for example, something like that. If you can do it, because of this Jupiter Venus conjunction, is going to really give you some reward for it. And it can be also the fulfillment of a dream of yours. This is the 11th house, a dream that you feel like, oh, for me, it was that my fulfillment was to have a live seminar, that it happened for me. And but I'm looking forward to the Jupiter Venus conjunction in the 11th house next week. I'll tell you, is it going to be games? Is it going to be, it might be one of those. Is it going to be a friendship? Is it going to be like, you know, fulfillment of some dream? So yeah, let's see. And to find out more about the Jupiter Venus conjunction, I speak more in my November video, so I don't even remember what I said there, but it's something similar but different as well. But to find out more, check those out. Okay, and now Pisces. Pisces, you're one of those blessed signs that the good planets are activating good houses for you. Very, very recognized houses. So we're gonna have Mars entering your 9th house for a month and a half. So it means it's gonna be making trine to Pisces. So your actions from the house of luck, it's like, you know, whatever you're trying to do something, it will, for a month and a half, it will happen. You feel like your actions are lucky. Maybe you're trying to park, you'll find the right parking spot. You'll feel like maybe you're trying to initiate something, you feel like, oh, the right doors are opening, because this Mars is making trines to your sign. And not only that, Mars is in its own sign, so it's giving you more willpower. When Mars enters its own sign, it's giving more willpower to access your luck, this 9th house, but it's going to make you more initiative in regards to all 9th house matters. So you might get very passionate about starting to learn something, about taking some courses, whether it's on astrology, whether it's on self-growth, whether it's on, I don't know, something else that can pre-qualify you, for example, for your career. You can, and Mercury is becoming born in your 9th house. So you can suddenly get like a new idea or the birth of a new opportunity to study or to learn something. Take it, please. Mercury is becoming visible and direct at the same time. Mars is entering. Those two planets have double manifesting power in the sign of Scorpio, because it's the ruler and Mercury. So if opportunity to study or to travel appears, I think for some of you will definitely appear, to learn something new, to be with a teacher or whatever, take it. You are not going to regret that. It's going to open doors for you down the road. If some opportunity, you can also be the birth of a new collaboration or friendship or a partnership of some or contract that is connected to import, export, or foreign people. So they can be a foreign person or a person from a different social background, which is usually higher than yours, that appears in your life now. And they can teach, they can be like a mentor for you, they can be like a teacher for you, like an inspirational figure, or someone who is lucky figure for you, like guardian angels that opens doors for you. It can be the birth of a teacher that appears in your life, and they'll have very youthful qualities, very intelligent qualities as well, Mercury, Mars, and very initiative qualities. It can be a great time to study something about marketing. Mercury is marketing, business, 9th house, to study crash courses, gurus, teachers of any sort. And Mars also how to do business, competitive business, how to go after things you want. So anything like that, fantastic. Or if you yourself a teacher, coach, astrologer, someone who teaches people, who shows the path, or counselor of any sort, or consultant of that, you know, someone who sees the bigger picture and helps others see the bigger picture and guide them in that direction, or someone who is a guide, tourist guide, or someone who is works with foreigners, someone who works with students, someone who works with publishing, or if you're someone who works with import, export, or any foreign or other cultural or academic university, any academic topics of any sort, you know, you're going to have a very active time. It's going to be a great time to publish papers, to bring out your message there, to start marketing campaigns for your business. Say you're trying to sell a course or to teach. Mercury becoming visible in your ninth house. Now is the time. Publish a course, publish an article, publish videos, you know, or academic, if you're someone academic. Now is the time. Or if you're trying to apply to university, or if you've already applied, maybe now you can see the good results, you know, and because Mercury becomes visible. If you're trying to get documents to travel to a foreign place or to do business with a foreign place, you know, access to faraway places, now with Mercury becoming visible and Mars entering there, you can make those things happen. Okay, and the next thing is that Jupiter and Venus, before Jupiter leaves for your 11th house, is going to give us a last present by aligning with the galactic center and Venus, the other benefic. So three wonderfully positive cosmic energies align, the most powerful, I would say, Jupiter, Venus, and the galactic center. How much better can it get? They align at the cusp of at the end of your 10th house to give you last, maybe if you haven't even received till now the presence of Jupiter in Sagittarius, you might be finally able to receive it. And that's to align there to give you a boost in your career, to give you a reward for something in your career, more visibility in your career, more public recognition of some sort, or in some project, reward for some career project, some wonderful opportunity to grow, to expand, or clarity about your direction or your career, or some authority figure or someone in power can also have this influence on you. But for more on that, check out my November 2019 videos. I speak more about this Venus conjunction with Jupiter and the galactic center. And don't forget that my 2020 calendar, 118 pages. It's interactive as well. It's an electronic version. It's out with all the important astrological events for 2020, retrogrades, directs, aspects, conjunctions between planets, heliacal, visible, invisible planets is out. So check it out. It's 30% off for the next 2-3 weeks. I love you. Have a wonderful week. Write back to me if I'm full of bullshit or if at least some of those things are happening. I always try to give you the positive side rather than doomsday scenario. I love you. Bye-bye.